Hi, this is Rohit.
And this is Swati,
We are.
Rewired.
This is the first of its kind that is going to touch everyone around us. My name is Rohit, and I'm joined here with my good friend Swati. So, here we are, two people who came across each other in a very different way. Our journey was supposed to be different, but we created our own new path. Here we're going to share something which is very special and which is something which is close to us, and I'm pretty sure to many more people. But before we go ahead, let's hear from Swati.
Yes, thank you, Rohit. And let me move forward by putting some disclaimers that we will not be giving any medical advice or any medicinal advice or alternative therapy advice or therapeutic advice of any kind. Our intention here is to make sure that you are comfortable talking about everything that needs to be spoken about and everything that we can tell you about our journeys. We would love to share this, and through the episodes moving forward in the episodes that are coming, we would talk about every single thing in detail, from how our journey was, what happened, how it's been so far, and how have we taken this forward from our end. And when we met, this was the first thing that we discussed, me and Rohit, and we would like to continue that and actually talk to you people and see if you would be interested in reaching out to us and wanting us to talk more about things versus sharing your stories with us. If you are comfortable, we would love to have you with us on the platform, on this podcast. Else, we would love to anonymously discuss whatever you would like us to discuss. If it is anything to do with medical advice or medicinal advice or some doctor, we would not be able to take part in that. So, taking this forward, Rohit, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm 38 years old or younger, in whichever you take it. And most importantly, I'm a brain stroke survivor. And I'd just like to show you about my life so far. I'm born in Hyderabad. I did my schooling here, luckily from nursery to 10th at the same school, which was easy for me. And I hardly lived 2 kilometers away from my school. I proudly share that during my school, college, I was into so many things. I was even a cricketer, a volleyball player, and then I would just love to jog in the mornings. I had a dog as well. So I don't know whether he wanted to go out more than I wanted to take her out. At home, I was the most energetic person as well. And growing up, Swati, it was very special because I was a part of a joint family. And during all these days, thanks to the way my grandpa and my uncles, aunts, parents, I got the best of the food and I was very healthy. And I thought like, wow, I might be into some sports journey. Everybody, they want to be a doctor, they want to be a sports personality, they want to be an actor as well. You never know. You have so many dreams when you were a kid, right? But I was a very shy kid and seldom would be excited to participate any kind of activities because I had this very big fear of being judged. Yeah. Next, I finished the usual MPC of this country, let's put it that way. And of course, I ended up being an engineer and I followed the entire goats that fell off the cliff and they landed in the US of A. A can be used for anything. For me, it's not astonishing. Okay, let's put it that way. And next, after finishing, I got a job. Yeah, it is lucky to get a job in the US in those days. And I got my H1B as well. So we were celebrating. We went for a proper ski. Skiing was one of the new things that I did in life then.
Wait. Hold on a second, Rohit. When did this happen? Which year was that? And do you remember the date?
Yes, Swati, I do remember the date and it is something which I wish I would not want to remember. It's in the year 2009, September 29th. And you can understand, because I was in the US, I'm going backwards. So, let me take you back in time, 12 years back to date. And I was celebrating my 27th birthday. And my office in the States gave me a coupon to go and enjoy some skiing. And I did not know anything about skiing, but it was fun to roll over in this ice or snow, whichever way you call it, because most of us wouldn't even know what is the difference between ice or snow. So I had a great time. And 3 days later, after we got out of the resort, I came down to normal ground level because we are almost like 2,500 feet above normal sea level, or you call it MSL, mean sea level. And I was having a small headache, which we obviously get because of the cold weather. And I thought it's going to be normal. So I hogged some hot food. I slept. Day 2, the intensity of the headache increased. So if I had to give it a mathematical way, 50% headache. And I could not consume anything which is a solid, but I could drink. Yeah, when I say drink, it was water, coconut water. And day 3, 100% headache. So I'm telling you, 100% headache is as if you don't have anything left in life. But I had some really good roommates, and they took me to a hospital wherein initially the doctors couldn't understand what has to be done. So they took me to a bigger hospital. When they say bigger, volumetric, and also height, and also more number of doctors. There, they did a scan initially, and they considered it to be a tumor. Yeah, a tumor. And they were wise enough to do an MRI scan then. That's when they decided it was a blood clot in the brain and not a tumor. So after that, everybody around me was shocked, except me, because I didn't know what was happening. So my friends, I'll be ever grateful to them. They decided to actually do everything that they could do.
Oh my God. Was there an upside to this? I mean, looks like you were in a lot of stress.
Yeah, the only one good thing I had was an insurance. Trust me, in the year 2009, if you had gone to any person, dude, get this insurance for your health, people would be like, are you crazy? My health is going to be awesome. Nothing's going to happen to me. I'm super than Superman. I guess that's how the ideology of people was in 2009.
Yeah, I guess that's true, isn't it? I mean, even now, we tend to take everything for granted, and we don't realize where we get hit when. So we always end up in a pickle.
So yeah, I have a query for you. If I give you $1,000 every month for the rest of your life, how many of that would you use for insurance and how many of that would you use for biryani? Let's say a month. I'm pretty sure everybody here would go for the biryani because A, we are in the biryani capital of the country, and B, even now we are illiterate with regards to insurance. So I guess that's how life works.
Did you tell me, Rohit, did you have a job there?
Yes, Swati, I did have a job. They paid for all the insurance. Of course, it was for my salary only, but still it was very useful. And I was admitted in the same hospital for which the building designs were prepared by me. And I didn't know that. So after that, I was admitted, and it was in the emergency ward. That's what my friends told me. You must be asking, dude, how would you know everything? So after everything happened, my friends told me elaborately what happened, point by point. So coming back, I was in the emergency ward, and they did few tests on me, and they said like, okay, this guy has to go into the ICU. And they asked for any family member to be present. And since I was in the US and my family is in India, so yeah, the distance was an issue. We didn't have video calling facilities then, like you have in an Android or an Apple phone. So the only thing that they could do is they could call. I had an advantage. I grew up in a joint family, and since my uncles took care of me more than my parents because I grew up with them, so my friends had my uncle's number. They called him, and he was shocked. He didn't know what to do, and God blessed, he had a US visiting visa. So he took the next flight. He flew to the US, and but even those 48 hours, my friends were there next to me, and I will be ever grateful to them because I'm here speaking to you people, trying to understand what life is, and no matter what I do for them, it will not be sufficient. And by the time my uncle had arrived, I was already in the ICU, and share you more about it. But now we go back to my other friend Swati, and she will share what has happened in her life.
Hi, I'm Swati, and thank you, Rohit. I'm a working professional. I've been working since 2003, and I have worked for almost 22 years now in this industry. Rohit, you want to say something? You look like you have such a big, look at you, you have such a big smirk on your face.
Sorry to cut Swati across. She may be elder to me on numbers, but I have more experience, and that's what counts in today's generation, I guess, right? What's your experience? That's what the package is made out, right? So I have more experience than Swati. Even the amount of meds I take are more than Swati. I'm taller than Swati by half an inch, I guess, even though she doesn't wear heels. Yeah, go back to Swati now.
Yeah, Rohit, we get it. You have campus seniority. But yes, from here, I would like to take you to my past. I've grown up in a very privileged army background. I was privy to a lot of sports and like badminton, horse riding, swimming, and all kinds of trekking activities, outdoor sport activities, and when I was growing up. But all along I also had a condition of pediatric epilepsy, which started when I was in first class and went on till college. But during those years it actually mild down and almost died by the time I reached college. Then it was pretty much not there. But what it did leave behind for me was residual migraines. And migraines, as you know, for some people are extremely acute, and for me it was literally a 3-day journey in migraine.
Swati, I did not know your life was so filled with migraines. I mean, I've never had migraines, but the way you've shared about your migraines, it's kind of scary for me. So I want you to add some more to it. I mean, I would like to know, elaborate me about, the childhood epilepsy. It's something which I'm like more scared to know about and also interested to know about, because I did not go through that.
So it started very offbeat. Randomly one day I fainted while talking to my mom. I guess that day it may have happened some 4 or 5 times. I was brushing my teeth, I fainted. I went to the washroom, I fainted. My mother saw me eating food, I fainted. My mother gave me food, I fainted. I went to the doctor, she took me to the doctor, I fainted. And the whole day went on like that. And I kept blacking out. And this is around 1984-85. And we were in Sikkim. And can you believe it? The nearest hospital which had MRI facility was in Calcutta. They diagnosed me as has too many fluids in the brain. After a whole lot of fainting, meds, sick leaves from school, I sailed through. And the meds stopped one day. The fainting was only when I was ill and was in acute pain. During the years to follow, this actually mild down and almost went away. By the time I reached college, it was pretty much not there.
But it's good, Swati, that you had good attention, good people around you in the 1984-85. India those days was actually just crawling.
Rohit, those days, there was no MRI anywhere. We had to go 1,000 miles away to get an MRI. Hundreds of miles had to be crossed. So that was actually the first time I probably flew.
Well, I shouldn't say this, but you at least had your first flight when you were young. But that was not a reason to fly. But yeah, but at least I'm happy you've recovered.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so at the peak of migraine, I would puke. And I would, and then I would become all right. So it was a great feeling of puking because it would release all my stress, and the complete head would, the whole headache would just go away in an instant, and I would be back to normal. But during the time of migraine, I was not able to see light, and I would not be able to hear anybody talk loudly. I couldn't handle the light in my eyes. Even if it was normal sunlight, it was difficult to handle. So this was the case then. By the way, I am 45 years old. And just like you, Rohit, I am a brain stroke survivor. At the time when the incident happened, this was 2 years back, I was 43 years old, and it happened on 1st March 2023. 3 days prior to that, I was having a migraine, a regular migraine, which I was very used to, and I knew that it's going to peak at some point, and I would then become all right. And this was the normal routine. Like I said earlier, anytime in the year, it would take at least 4 to 5 times in a year that I would get these migraines, and I was very accustomed to it, and I went ahead and planned my day accordingly. So the first day and the second day, the headache kept increasing, and I knew that it's going to come. On the third day in the morning, I took my dog for a walk, and at the time I didn't realize it, and it was a very small thing that happened. I skipped a step. It was very strange. My right leg skipped a step, and it was just for a few seconds, and then I just didn't overthink it. I was like, yeah, okay, fine. And what had also happened was that my migraine had reduced by then, and the headache had not peaked yet. So I just decided to go to work, and I was at work all day. The headache kept continuing on the side. I had my lunch. I came back to my workspace. I sat with my colleague, and I just told him that I have such a bad headache. I think I need to puke. And the only thing he said to me was, you do what you have to. Otherwise, you can go home and take care of yourself. And I was like, no, I'm going to go to the washroom. And I went to the washroom. I puked. And I felt light in my head. I was so happy because suddenly the headache was gone. It was a weight off my shoulders. And I decided to, get back to work. I cleaned up myself. I cleaned up the whole thing. And then I decided, okay, let me take a breath. And I took a breath and I said, okay, let me get back to work. And I walked into my workspace and I sat down with my colleague again and I told him that, and these were my words, I told him, you know what, I feel great. And he said, okay, have some water. The moment he said, have some water, my whole right leg went limp and it started becoming like stone. And then it just followed upwards and slowly it came up to my shoulder. And my hand started going limp. Also, there was this tingling sensation all across my leg and arm. My whole arm started going limp rather. My hand was still okay, my fingers were still okay. And I was not sure what to do. They gave me nimbu pani. My colleagues came running to help me. One of my colleagues brought the car inside and said, let's go to the hospital. I checked in with my parents who are in the same city and they said to come to a certain hospital. All throughout the car trip to the hospital, my colleague made sure I was talking and had not fallen asleep. He had actually had a word with my father earlier, and he said, and what my dad told him is that whatever happens, make sure she doesn't go to sleep. I guess he knew what was happening. So I went there and I was in the emergency room.
I'm actually a bit scared. But if I'm scared now, I must have lost it completely when I was there in person next to you. I am actually panicking even now, but how are you feeling then? Were you panicking, or were you just like at loss of words, or were you just looking around? What happened to you? Could you share me more about how you felt?
Everything was so surreal because everybody around me was panicking, but I wasn't. It was so smooth. I was just like, yeah, I'm not feeling anything anymore because the headache was gone, right? So I was like, okay, I'm fine. Except that at that time, I was not able to move my leg. It had become stone. And it didn't really hit me what was actually happening. And I just, sat there watching everybody going helter-skelter. My colleague helped me. I'm so thankful to him. He helped me through the whole thing. He helped my parents. He figured out the whole emergency thing. And then from there, I went to the MRI. They found 3 clots in my brain and 2 small ones, 1 really major one. And they said, okay, so she's had a stroke. And from there, at some point in all this, it was so surreal. At some point in all this, one of my aunts came and she was feeding me idlis. And then because she said, you are going to the ICU, so you need to eat something before you go. And at some point somebody was asking me, how are you feeling? And I was like, I'm fine. What's wrong? What's going on? And then my dad, he came and told me what had happened. And then they took me to the ICU. So that was the incident that happened that day. And from that to this, it's been quite the journey. And we're going to talk more about it as we move forward. And this is the space where I was rewired. So, this is our journey, and we would love to hear from you. And again, let me remind you as a final disclaimer from this podcast, we are not here to give you any medical advice or medicinal advice or therapeutic or alternative medicine advice. We are here to just talk about us, our journey, and we would love for you to participate with us and come back to us with what you would like us to talk about through our journey, or keep listening to us. We are Rewired.